Hey everyone, it's Alison Heikkila. Thank you so much for joining me. We are going to play with some alcohol inks today. I haven't played with them in a while and I'm in the mood to make a little bit of a mess. And if you watched my video with the Better Press Plate of the Month from Spellbinders with the butterfly, kind of in the mood to play with color combinations that I don't usually use. So that's what we're doing today also. Beyond that, I don't really have a plan. So I have Dijon, Stonewashed, and Sienna. It's kind of a red, blue, yellow combo, so we could get some, nice blending happening, but I don't really have a plan, and I don't break out these colors too much. Dijon I actually use kind of frequently, I guess, but the others not so much. So let's play. These swatches are made on poster board paper. This is the paper that I use when I'm playing with alcohol inks. I always find it to be important to make your swatches on the paper that you typically use with whatever the medium is. So I use this poster board paper from Dollar Tree. It's from Jot. They come in really big sheets and I just cut them down. And that's what I make my swatches on, and then that's what we're going to make our project onto. And since they're from Dollar Tree, it's really inexpensive. I like this poster board paper because the inks don't move quite as much as they do on Yupo, so you have a little bit more control, but you can still get really cool effects going on. So I like to first put my blending solution down onto the cardstock or the poster board paper, like so. A little tricky to see, but I think that you can kind of get an idea. And then, I don't know, we're going to just kind of mess around with this a little bit. I'm going to start with the Sienna, and then I'm going to go in with the Dijon. Let's see what we get. I don't know. I have a few pieces here that are cut down to 4 by 5 1/4, and we'll see what we get. I don't know. It might not be great. It might be awesome. So now I'm using this air blower. This is originally intended for use with markers. You put a marker in this area here, and you can turn them into an airbrush, but I really don't do that. I like using it for this. I don't have the current air blower that Ranger sells. I just have this thing, and this works just fine. Not really getting a whole lot of blending. That's okay. I don't really love this. I don't know if I like these colors together. Not sure. We might need to add maybe, I think it's Dandelion. Let me grab that. Okay, here's Dandelion. If I can get it open. Okay, I'm gonna put some of this down. Yeah, I think that that's better with these. I don't like this spot right here, that opening. Let's see if we can get rid of that. And we'll do another panel too. And then we can choose which one we want to use. Got these negative spaces that I'm not loving. All right, okay. This is a start. This is a start. I think I'm gonna leave this one off to the side. No, you know what? We're gonna take some isopropyl alcohol first. I've got it in a spray bottle, but I'm not gonna spray it. I'm going to just add a couple of flicks so that we get some cool effects happening in the ink. You can see how it breaks it up and makes it move around a bit. This is nice right here. I like that a lot. Let's see if we can get some more of that happening up here. Not so much. That's okay. All right, we're gonna move this off to the side and we'll start another panel. I'm gonna just wipe this up. Now I'll spray the isopropyl onto my glass mat and just wipe it up. Okay. New panel, a little bit more blending solution. I tend to go too heavy with the blending solution, and I'm aware of the problem, but it's okay. If you've watched me work with alcohol inks before, you know that I don't want that yet. What I tend to do is if anything stays sticky, which sometimes happens, I'll take some deco foil. I use the Dandelion instead of the Sienna this time. I'll I'll take deco foil and put it wherever it's sticky, and it will adhere to it and leave a really cool, like, marbleized effect with the foil, and it looks awesome. My dogs are going to probably start wigging out because somebody is coming to work on something at my house. So they're going to probably be barking continuously from now until I finish filming. So I apologize about that. All right, we're just going back and forth and back and forth. I have a bunch of videos on alcohol inks on my channel, so you can do a search by playlist and look them up that way. I'm okay with this. This is looking okay. I want to add a little bit more blending solution, maybe get a little bit of the screen that's happening over here. Kind of like this open space at the bottom. We might put a sentiment there. I'm not really sure. Like I said, I didn't really plan this out. Yeah, they're really barking now. This is looking okay. Do I want to break it up a little bit with the isopropyl? I think so. Do you guys talk to yourselves when you're creating? Is it just me? Look at that. See, I think that looks really cool. A little bit more. You get these cool, like, cells. All right. I'm liking this. We're going to move this one off, and we've got one more that we can do. So last time, we're going to add some blending solution, a little of the Sienna, Dandelion, and Stonewashed. What's nice is that, you know, we took the time to take out these colors and whatnot. And now we have 3 panels that we can use. And even if we don't use them all today, which we're not going to, I don't plan on making 3 cards today. I've got them for later, and I can do different things with them. So that's always nice. Getting a bunch of things done all at once, so that if I'm short on time, but I want to make something, I can do that because I've got a couple of panels ready to go. That one, very green this time. Got this funny negative space here. I'm going to try and get rid of that. Okay. Nice. I like that. Again, we're going to do the isopropyl though because it's fun to watch those cells happen. Look at that. And you can skip this step if you want to, but I happen to like it. We'll see what happens there. Okay, I'm going to wash up this space, and then we'll compare our pieces and decide which one we're going to use. Here are the 3 panels that we made, and I've got to say, they all came out really nice. Better than I had anticipated. I wasn't sure how muddy things were going to get, but I think that this one's my favorite. That's the one we're going to use today. This one's still a little wet, but we're going to go with this one. I love this area right here. It's super dreamy looking. I'm happy with that. But for the technique that I decided that I'm going to do while my dogs were freaking out about the person that's here doing some work, guys, they were like barking for like 15 minutes. Anyway, so I decided I want to use this texture fade from Tim Holtz and Sizzix. This is the Doily. You may have seen me use it once before with the flamingo, what's her name? Gladys. If you didn't check that out, that video, check it out for sure, because it came out really cute. I think it'll look really nice though with this. I really love using alcohol ink panels with embossing folders. I think it just steps them up a bit. So I'm going to run this through my die cut machine. Look at how cool that looks. It just kind of ends almost in the right spot. You can see that Stonewashed color right there. So I'm going to run this through my die cut machine and we'll move on from there. Okay, let's see what we have. Now there might be some alcohol ink on the embossing folder, and we can just clean that up with isopropyl alcohol. You can see it here. Just clean it up with some isopropyl and it'll be fine. Look at how cool this is. Oh, look at that. But we're going to make it stand out even more. So I'm going to take my cleaning towel and put it on top of my glass mat because we're going to sand this off. And I don't want to sand on my glass mat. And this will catch all of the dust. Probably not the best thing to use. I should probably use a paper towel or something, but we're going to just go with this. And this sandpaper is pretty well used, so it's coming apart. I'm going to get a sanding block instead and go with that. Now you could just use sandpaper, but that piece is really used. This is just a really old sanding block from Coordinations. You can get something very similar to this at the hardware store. But I'm just going to sand this down a little bit and bring out the detail. If you don't want to sand it, because I'm not loving how this is coming out. It's not really sanding it as nicely as I'd like, and I don't really want to remove the texture, so let's do something else. Experimentation is key when you're crafting, right guys? All right, I've got this Brilliance Moonlight White ink from Imagine, and we're going to use that instead. I'm hoping my panel is dry enough at this point where it's not going to contaminate my pad. Yeah, we should be okay. All right, guys. I'm going to just rub this across very lightly and just bring out that detail. And I've totally contaminated my pad with the Sienna, but that's okay. We will clean it up. Just rubbing it across just to make it show a little bit. All right, I'm going to clean this off with a paper towel. I really wanted to show up a little bit more, so I am going to add some Detail White embossing powder and see what that does. Now this might cover way too much. It's actually not too bad. Okay, we're going to flick this bit. That's not terrible. Okay, we can clean that up easily. I'm going to get a brush, and I'm just going to kind of wipe away some of these areas here. And just clean this up a little bit more. So what I should have done is applied my anti-static powder tool across the panel. But I wasn't planning on embossing, so that's why I didn't. And at that point, I had already had the white ink there, so it wouldn't have worked. So I didn't clean it up perfectly. We've got some stray bits here and there, but I'm going to emboss it anyway. So I'm going to turn on my tool, let it heat up a little bit, and then we'll bring it to the panel and see how it looks. You can see that it's starting to melt, and it has a really cool effect. You want to make sure that you do this all in a well-ventilated area. Have a fan going or an open window, especially if you have lung issues like asthma, like I do, just to make sure that you're not breathing this stuff in too much. All right, check that out. I could have cleaned it a little bit better, but I'm being impatient, and I actually don't mind it. I think that's really cool. Okay, we need a sentiment, though. So I have this new set from Concord and 9th and Christina Werner. I love this set. As soon as I saw it, now I'm not one to like just jump and buy something right off the bat, but these sentiments are so good and they're very unique. How are things? Long distance hug. You always need some just becauses in different fonts and sizes, so that's good. Hope today is a good one. You're never far from my thoughts. You deserve only the best. Like they're just good. You're on my mind. Like they're not super lovey-dovey. Like you don't have to necessarily send them to a partner or something, but just kind of checking in sort of stuff. I mean, it's called checking in stamps, so it's perfect. I really like it, and I got the coordinating dies to go with it. So I was thinking that this would look really nice with this. Again, while my dogs were freaking out. And one thing I like to do when I'm trying to figure out a sentiment, if I don't have something pre-stamped or pre-die cut, is I'll just take it in the package and just kind of place it to see if I like how something fits. So I actually think that Hope Today is a good one is pretty perfect, because I think that it going up this way is going to look really nice as opposed to something that's kind of long. I don't really love how this fits here. I think that this is definitely more appropriate. So I'm going to get some ink and we're going to stamp it and die cut it and put it onto our panel. I decided that we're going to go with Shady Lane VersaFine Clair ink because there's a little bit of green happening here and I want to pull that out. And I think that that's going to work nicely. VersaFine Clair inks have become my absolute favorite ink for sentiments. And thankfully the color line has recently expanded. So you have plenty of colors to choose from. It's just they come out so crisp and beautiful. The colors are really rich and I love them. Okay, so I'm going to take this off. This is the first time I'm using this stamp set. I'm very excited. I just got it the other day in the mail. I don't want to waste all my cardstock, so I'm going to stamp it down here, making sure that I have enough room for my dies to cut around it. Put that down like so. And now I'm going to just condition it a little bit because it's brand new, like I said, and it's good to kind of rub. I can't really show you online. On camera. There we go. It's good to kind of rub this off. You can use a paper towel or something, something that doesn't have like lint, but I just use my hand or my arm. And it just kind of gets off any of the potential mechanical stuff that could be left over. All right. I am stamping it with Shady Lane. I know I'm not on frame and I apologize. I need to kind of reconfigure my camera rig now that I have this larger glass mat. Just going to stamp this, and we might need to stamp it a couple of times because it's a new stamp. Yeah, one more time. Could leave it like that, but one more time I think we'll do it. Perfect. Nice and crisp. Okay, let's move this off to the side and get rid of my Misty. I have the coordinating die and I'm going to tape it in place, and you can see that it cuts nice and close. I could have actually moved my stamp over a little bit more, but this is really nice. Okay, I'm going to run this through my die cut machine, but I'm going to remove this first. I find that when I have plates that are a little bit well loved, it leaves, it leaves little bits of paper behind, little tiny threads almost of paper. They're not really threads, but you get what I'm saying. And then it adds texture to this, and I don't really want that. So I'm going to remove that, make sure I really stuck this to the right spot, and run this through. Check that out. Beautiful. I love that. Okay. And that is going to sit right there. Oh, that looks really nice. I'm really happy with that. I think that looks really good. All right, it's time to finish up our card. Off screen, I die cut the sentiment 2 more times without stamping and stacked up those pieces so that it would be a little raised like that. You can use foam tape, you can use craft foam and die cut that, but I wanted to just use cardstock. It's the same 100-pound cardstock that I use for my bases and for the main sentiment as well. So now we're just going to put that on here like so. Let that sit for a moment, and then we can glue it to our card base. Put some glue on the back of the focal layer, and my sentiment is not dry yet. I'm being totally impatient. So I'm going to just sit this here like so and let that kind of hang out. I'm actually going to weigh it down even further. This is an acrylic block, and this one is crystal, so this is really heavy. So that should help keep it in place. I did want to mention that if you heat up a panel that has alcohol ink on it, it could crack, meaning the color could look like it's cracking across the paper. So you just want to be careful to not overheat it. Sometimes that's a really cool effect. I've done it for Halloween cards and things like that, but just be careful that if it's not something that you want to look cracked, you don't overheat it. So that's why I, kept it pretty quick. Let's see how this looks. It's probably not dry yet because, again, I'm being impatient, but I'll let it dry off screen. But this is our finished card for today. I think it came out really cool. Really loving these sentiments. I think they're fantastic. So I look forward to using them again soon. Let me know in the comments what you think of this. Do you like combining embossing folders with alcohol ink panels? I certainly do. I think it adds just a whole nother literal layer of interest to those panels. I think it's really cool. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. I will be back very soon with another card. I will see you then. Be well, stay safe. Peace out.